Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are at the opening of Quarter Mile Farm driveway, and you're about to see why, well, one of the reasons why we named it Quarter Mile Farm. So let's go for a walk. Here we are at the top of the driveway. And as you can see, we're wooded on both sides. And currently, at the end of the driveway, this is where our trash is. So it's a matter of driving it down the driveway every time I need to take out the trash. But we're looking at getting a dumpster soon. And I think somewhere along here would be perfect for the farm stand. You have to clear a little space in here, make sure there's room for people to pull off the road and park. But a couple of different options, so take it all into consideration. Actually, this is the second time I've taken you for a walk on our driveway. The first time I looked at the video afterwards and the wind was blowing so strongly that you actually couldn't hear a word I was saying. So, you know, live and learn. It's just beautiful down here. And 2 weeks ago, you could have ice skated down this driveway. 3 weeks ago, we had an ice storm. Actually, my my wife had surgery, and I just managed to get her home when we had actually we drove home in the middle of the storm was starting, and then the storm started in earnest, and this was completely iced in, and all around the house was iced in. So I went on the hunt for ice melt, and it's kind of the end of the season, so you know there's not a lot of people had it in stock, and I finally found some in Hillsborough, which is about a 40-minute drive for me, and I bought 800 pounds of ice melt. Got it on the back of my truck and came out here and salted the driveway to help it melt when the sun came out. That was quite the task. But it's absolutely beautiful. Wouldn't you agree? So the reasoning, Quarter Mile Farm, this driveway is a 1/4 mile long, and coincidentally, if you know, I don't know if I really believe in coincidences, but here you go, we have quarter horses. So this farm we spent 3 years looking for and fought to close on and pulled all our resources to get down a 1/4 mile long driveway. It's going to be the perfect home for our quarter horses. So named because of their, actually I should ask Karen to tell the story for real, but their ability to run a 1/4 mile in a certain time, I guess? I don't know. They're built for speed over a 1/4 mile. I have to verify that. Anyway, here we are. We're coming up to what we call the bend in our driveway. As you can see, those telephone poles I was talking about, where the wires came down, run down our driveway. And we open up on this beautiful clearing, which again, a couple of weeks ago, all you would have seen was ice. And a little driveway over here, which we hope maybe a little horse pasture or a round pen. And over here, you can see these, the rocks. There is an old stone wall. I think it runs about 500 yards, maybe more, along our property line, which is pretty cool. We followed it one day. Probably should have waited for fall to finish dropping all the leaves, it would have been a much easier task. Here's our old farmhouse, built circa 1780s. There's our pool, which is closed up for the season, so we haven't actually spent any time in it at all. We took a peek under the cover the other day and the water was crystal clear. So we have mixed feelings about this because that would be the perfect place for a barn. It's got water, it's got power, and it's level. But there's a small issue of a swimming pool. So there's our horse trailer. I'm coming down our driveway, and if you look over there, all of that is ours. There's the hayfield back there. Our driveway took a hit. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. We've got some quotes happening to help fix this up, make it a little more farm friendly for us, so we have bigger vehicles. We have to get the horses in and out. Oh, look at this. You can see the evidence of my efforts the other morning. I backed down here because one of our contractors had his trailer, and I backed down here so he could turn around, and as you can see, I kind of sunk right there. There's the guest cottage over there, which used to be a chicken coop. It is, I mean, it's just the cutest darn thing. It's got a bedroom on either side and a bathroom in the middle. It needs some work, but can you believe that? I mean, original to the house, but I'm not exactly sure. We've seen old photos of this property, quite old, and the chicken coop is in the photos. There's also, in photos, there's like another outbuilding here, which is not here anymore. Coming down our driveway, nice stepping stones that lead to the house that we've been gradually uncovering. They've been a little buried. You can hear the geese. They're kind of my nemesis right now. I don't really like the geese. There's my truck, and you can see evidence of me trying to get out of the mud. And around the corner, that's the original house. That's the original house. And those walls, those stone walls, are like 2 feet deep. It's pretty amazing. You hear those geese. See a garage. Let's go say hello to the geese. There's an old barn, which I would love to fix up and make into my bakery. But, you know, that's a down the road project. First order of business is getting these horses onto our property. That would certainly make our life easier. This is Scott's Pond, so named for my late brother, who loved fishing and canoeing. And one of the things we used to do when we were growing up is we had an old canoe, and we would take it down to the beach in Australia, and we would paddle the canoe and inevitably fall in the water and whatnot because we weren't exactly skilled at it. But for my 50th birthday, which was just last year, my wife bought me this sign. I'll show you. Scott's Pond. And wow, did that make me cry. But it's hanging on the side of the barn right now, but we're going to eventually mount it somewhere over here near the pond. We'll get this pond cleaned up. It needs to be aerated. I'd like to put a little dock on it and maybe a canoe. But there are our resident Canadian geese. We don't really appreciate as much as they appreciate our pond. And we have heard but there is a resident snapping turtle that lives in there. I am yet to encounter him, but I've been assured that every so often he gets himself stuck in the overflow and you have to rescue him, so I'm not looking forward to that. I'm thinking of a game plan in advance. And we have a great blue heron that likes to come fishing here. And every now and then you'll look out the window and you'll see him out here on the pond. There's our field over there. Just this morning, we were sitting in that room off there having coffee. We saw a bald eagle fly right by and land out there in the hayfield. He obviously found something to catch. I took some photos too far away to get a really good one, but exciting nonetheless. And then a few minutes later, a fox ran out there to see what he could scavenge. The first thing we heard was the geese taking off from the pond, so I'm sure that they saw the eagle coming and took off. And full circle, we come around, there's the house, the barn, and Scott's Pond. And I think you can probably tell why we love it.